everybody, welcome back. Welcome to this budget setup for the November-December pay period. I've got a few little changes to make within my categories, and I've changed up a little bit some of the stuff that I've got going on at home. So I'm just gonna put the spreadsheet up on screen and I'll take you through that. So we're going to start with the local side of my budget. I get paid every month the same amount. It's 1,300 Omani Rial. However, I get a 20 Rial allowance for my utilities, and then I get 7 deducted for laundry service. So that ends up being 1313. The additional income, I didn't earn anything additional this month. However, if I have a category like health and beauty that I want to roll over month on month, and I may do that for clothing as well, although there was no over to be had this month, I'll put it in additional income because technically it's money that's being paid to me from last month, because I don't want the calculations to be off later. So the send home will update as I update this one, because basically all it does is take my total minus my spending, and then it comes up with how much I should send home. So let's go down and look at my fixed bills. My home internet is not changing, although I'll just try and pay it once this month maybe. My phone, because I paid my internet money to my phone by accident, that money is in credit right now. So I don't actually need to pay my phone. So I'm just going to take it out of the table rows, and I won't need to pay my phone for the next 5 or 6 months because I'm awesome. My electricity, I'm not quite spending the 20 Rial they give me. I haven't spent more than 15 in 1 month. So I think I'm just going to top it up to 15 every month and leave it there. And if I get to a point where at the beginning of the month I have enough left from everything that I've got 15 in there still, I'll just leave it and skip a month at some point. My cleaner is not going to change. I pay her 10 Rial every time she visits. She visits every 2 weeks. So we've got 20 Rial for that. That leaves me with a total of 72 for fixed bills. And we're going to go down to the variable expenses where all the stuff really happens. Now the variable expenses have still got the old numbers in, ignore that, but we're making a few changes here. Because I had to skim off some money for some unexpected costs last month, it just made me reevaluate some of the sections. Groceries is going to stay at 120. I think that's the right amount, even though it feels really expensive. It feels like the right amount. Transport, I think I'm budgeting in a little bit too much for that. I had actually a couple of extra trips last month, and I still only spent 18 something. So I'm going to put that to 20, and we're going to see how it goes. I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be enough depending on what we do, but I can always split the difference and have it be 25 next time if I need it. And school, I think I'm going to cut down to 20. I don't think I need it to be 25. I did end up using 20 this month, but it was enough, and there were more events this month than usual, so I think that should be fine. Nails, again, I think I should just delete this category. I'm probably not going to do it anytime soon, so let's just get rid of that. Table row. Okay. Beauty, because I've got that 250 left over from last time, this is actually going to be 2750 because it's going to roll. And Misc Home, I think I'm going to increase it to 10. There's too many little things. Like, I want to add a bit more decor to my apartment, and I don't think 5 is quite enough, although I am probably going to do a special purchase kind of outside of my budget with some slush money, rather than have it really increase a lot month on month. Eating out delivery, it's been perfectly fine, but I think I don't need to eat out twice every week, so I'm thinking of just cutting it down just by 1 a month and see how I feel, and then I can cut it down a bit more as we go. I might go down to once a week, but rather than making a huge change, I think I'm just going to put that back to the 25 it was on, maybe once or twice less a month, which is, I think, a small enough step. It should be fine. Spending, I pre-listed this out and I've got spending on 28 for some reason. Why did I have spending on 28? I'm not entirely sure, but I guess we're going to roll with it. I can't remember the reason for that, to be honest. I feel like there was a reason and I can't remember it. So when I find out, I'll update you on the closeout. I suppose clothing is staying on 25. Oh, I think the spending, because I had extra spending last month, and then so this is minus the extra we spent to the average, and that's going to leave me with a total of 275.50 spent for the month, which is 347.50 total for both parts of the budget. So when we go up here and we do everything, that's going to leave a total of 880.50, which is a weird number that I don't like. Oh, this hasn't updated. Hang on. E31 is the square. And that shouldn't say income, that should say spending. It's because I cut and paste the two boxes so I could have two of them. I did have a few people actually ask me about this template. It's just one that I kind of cut and paste and changed around that was already there. Why is this saying? I actually just wrote in, if you look here, it doesn't have a formula. I wrote in last month and completely destroyed the formula. So I'm just gonna change that right now. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. So now that I've got my actual formulas right, the total I'm sending home is 968 Omani Rial. Okay, nice. That sorted that out. That little extra 500 peso was irritating me quite a lot. So let's move on. I have estimated, for the sake of the send home, that 968 will be about £2,000. 2,000 is a little bit of an underestimate, but I'd rather be a little under and budgeting correctly than a little over. My extra income, this is the estimate box, by the way, when I'm just making it before I find out. I had estimated to be about 550 because that's where I was when I was looking at potentially how much I'd be doing this month, because I tend to go through this before I record, and that's how I make the paper, to be able to explain it to you. So I may have slightly more income, but in terms of actual here, the payment I'll be getting for the extra is 667, which is a bit more. I'm guessing this will be one, but we'll update it in the closeout. Now, when we go to here, I've made some changes to how I'm distributing my money in my savings at home. I have upped this one to 150. This is one of my savings accounts. The reason I have done that is because I'm actually getting rid of one of the savings pots I had, just because it didn't really make sense. I was slightly paranoid in terms of ever having my accounts cut off or what have you, but I think having saving pots in two accounts is enough. I didn't need to diversify it quite as much as I was doing, and the type of account the money was in didn't really make sense for me in this moment. So I'm putting part of the account here, this second savings account, just so I'd have a pot of money. I'm just closing. I only had a few hundred in it anyway, but the people will refund it back to my other account, and I can just delete the row. Oh, it doesn't want me to delete the row. Okay, not sure why that is when I could do it before, but you get to see everything on this channel, so let me just see if I can cut and paste this over instead. Haha. See, what problem solvers over on this channel. Okay, so the 333 I was planning on paying into that account, I'm going to put elsewhere. Right now I've got 150 here. I did cancel my Nintendo Direct because I used to play Animal Crossing a lot, and that was the only thing I really played on my Switch, and I'm not playing it at the moment because I've been playing Disney Dreamlight. If I change my mind, if I get a game on the Switch that I really like and I need the account again, then I can do it again. That one I can delete and the other ones I couldn't. I don't understand. But anyway, for now, it's gone. I don't need it there. So what am I going to do with the other money I had now that we've changed this? I'm probably going to change my pension contribution. I'm going to up it, but let me do the rest of the budget before I do that, just in case I've messed it up, because I have a tendency to do that. I do want, if I put this over so you can see, the green doesn't connect to anything else on the table, it's just so I remember the balance. I do want to get my emergency fund up to 1,000. I'm uncomfortable with it being that low. I do eventually want it to be probably 3,000 or 5,000, but for the moment, let's get it to 1,000, and I can always aim for higher. To make it to 1,000 now, I'd need to put 443 in it. Tax, I've got right now 2,330 in the tax account, because that's due to pay end of January next year, which is coming up. So putting the 330 in here will take the balance up to 2,630, which is everything I need for the January payment. If I go across here, this is the total amount I need to put into the account to cover last year's taxes and the payments on account for this year's taxes. So probably next month I'll put another 300 or so in there, and then that will all be taken care of and I won't have to account for it, which is nice. Once I've done that, this tax account, I will probably just throw 100 in there every month to cover any unexpected things that come up, or if it's not the amount I think it's going to be, if it's more, just to have a little bit put aside and keep ticking over there. I did have national insurance contributions. If we go down to sinking funds, I did originally have those up here in my fixed bills, because this is the account that all my subscriptions and all my fixed bills go out of. However, the national insurance I'm paying right now is just filling in some gaps I have in my history. And the problem with doing voluntary payments is when you need to get a payment, you have to call them up and get an 18-digit code. But that code is not unique to the payee, it's unique to the purchase, it's unique to like the transaction. So I have to call them every single time I want to do this, and that's a little bit of a faff. So what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to have a sinking fund for national insurance contributions, and I will just build that up until probably March, my March payment, and then I will just call them up, get one code, and pay whatever's in there towards the missing payments I have, historically speaking. So that's where most of the money from the account I've now gotten rid of is going to go, because it covers everything. Aside from that, the other sinking funds aren't changing, except for, I really hate the fact I had this on one, because the total before it was going to go to a nice round number, and I kind of hate the fact that it doesn't. But I'm committed now, and like 266, is it worth taking the one off? I don't know, maybe. I'll decide how OCD I want to be about it. But all the other things are not changing for the moment. I've just, as I say, put the national insurance contributions right there. So as it stands at the minute, that would give me £288 unaccounted for, assuming that I don't end up with more on the exchange rate than I think, which is likely. I've also got, this is very minor, but it's confusing, I've got a random £20 payment sitting in credit. I don't owe it, it's been refunded to me on my credit card, but my credit card was paid off, so I'm just like sitting with £20 on there for no reason. I think it was like an offer on exchanging money or sending money from abroad or something, because I can't think of any other reason it would be there. And now I don't quite know what to do with it, because it's my home credit card. It's not like I'm going to spend it here. I don't know. If I ever have a small purchase, I guess I'll buy it with that. So that's where we're sitting right now. What I'm probably going to do, once I do know the final number in terms of how the exchange rate is doing, I'm going to put the extra probably 300 in the pension, I would imagine. I do want to get those contributions up, but another option would be to put the extra 300 or 360 or whatever it is I owe just to complete my tax payments, and then I don't have to worry about those next month. We'll see what the number ends up being, and then we'll work from there. Okay, everybody, so I hope that all made sense. I think everything is accounted for here. Occasionally I make little mistakes. I usually figure them out later when I'm filling stuff in. But if you see one, let me know, because I could probably fix it now if you tell me. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Like I said, for the savings, I do want to up the emergency fund, but for now I'll just focus on keeping it on 1,000. Sinking funds are just going to click along, and everything else I think is covered. So let me know how you did this month. I know for most, Christmas is quite a tough time financially, or slightly tighter if not tough financially, because you have so much going on, and especially in America where the holiday season has essentially already started, because you guys have Thanksgiving and things. With me not really celebrating Christmas, the only thing I really have to do is to buy gifts for some of the children in my family, but I don't have to spend much otherwise. It's not a big holiday here. I might end up with the personal spending doing a little bit more, because Christmas is allowed here. Hotels do like meals and events and things. It's not as widespread as you'd see elsewhere, but it's also not completely banned from the country. Things like Christmas decorations are in a few places in a way that you just didn't see in Saudi Arabia. So that's kind of nice. I might get into the Christmas spirit as we get closer, maybe. So we'll see. We'll see if I end up needing some extra money for that. But otherwise, in terms of the spend, I said I wanted to buy a couple of pairs of shoes and things. I might end up taking some of the extra like rollover money at the bottom that was unaccounted for, and maybe take out 100 or so and buy that. So I'm just going to wait until I see the actual final numbers, and then we can discuss in the budget closeout any adjustments I made as I went. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Comment down below, let me know how you're doing. Bye.